Listen to me. Every single day when you open your eyes, you've already stepped into a battlefield. But the fight doesn't start out there. It starts right here, in your mind, before your feet even hit the floor, before anybody calls your name, before the noise of the world gets turned up. You've got to decide who you are and what kind of day you're going to have. You've got to win that war in your mind before the world even wakes up. See, most people think life starts when they leave the house. No. It starts the moment you wake up and your thoughts begin to talk. That internal conversation, that's where the real war is. And the truth is, for most people, that battle has already been lost by 7 a.m., not setbacks. You wake up tired. You wake up doubting. You wake up remembering everything that went wrong yesterday. You wake up with fear, insecurity, guilt, regret. And you just let those thoughts run wild. That's not how you're going to win in life. That's not how champions operate. You can't afford to leave your mindset to chance. You've got to program it with purpose. You've got to wake up and speak on purpose. Wake up and command your thoughts. Wake up and declare, I'm focused. I'm intentional. I'm built for this. I'm not going back. I didn't come this far to quit. Today I show up. Today I fight. Today I dominate. Some of you are praying for peace, but you keep letting cows live in your mind rent free. You let every lie, every doubt, every voice that told you you're not enough sit in the front row of your thinking. And you wonder why you can't find clarity, why you can't feel confidence, why you keep hesitating. I'm telling you, you've got to evict those thoughts. You've got to take control of what plays in your head, or your mind will play you. Every morning is a reset, a chance to either replay your pain or reframe your purpose. You get to choose what story gets told first, the story of your failure or the story of your fight. You get to decide whether today you play victim or victor. But here's the key: that choice is made early. That choice is made in silence, in the dark, when no one is watching. That's when you build the mindset of a winner. Don't wait for the world to tell you who you are. You tell the world. You walk out your door already knowing. You walk out with identity, with clarity. You walk out already full because you filled yourself first, not with noise, with distractions, but with truth, with purpose, with conviction. You filled yourself with a word that reminds you who you are, a thought that fuels where you're going, a vision that's bigger than the pressure. And I'm not talking about just thinking positive. I'm talking about going to war against every lie that tries to convince you that your best days are behind you. I'm talking about silencing the voice that says you're not smart enough, strong enough, worthy enough. That voice is a thief. It'll rob you of your confidence, your courage, your calling. If you let it. But you've got to stop letting it. You've got to fight back. That means some mornings you've got to wake up and talk to yourself like your life depends on it. Because it does. It means before you reach for your phone, you reach for your identity. Before you scroll through somebody else's life, you remind yourself of your own, who you are, what you're building, why it matters. You remind yourself what you survived, not setbacks. You remind yourself what you're committed to. You remind yourself that you didn't come this far just to blend in, just to give up, just to be average. This world will try to define you before it even knows your name. But when you've already defined yourself, when you've already spoken power over your day, no critic, no setback, no fear has the authority to change your direction. because you're already locked in. You're already clear. You're already committed. You're already walking in purpose. So don't just wake up and exist. Wake up and you declare. Wake up and you decide. Win that war in your mind every single morning. Because once you win there, everything else bows in submission. Everything else falls in line. Win the morning. Win your mind. Win your life. Some of you are waking up and going through the motions like this life don't cost you anything. Like every breath you take is guaranteed. Let me tell you something. If you woke up this morning, then that means purpose woke up with you. If your eyes opened, then your assignment is still active. But you can't just keep waking up and only feeding your body. You can't just be chasing calories while starving your calling. There's more to life than full stomachs and empty souls. Too many people wake up every day and the first thing they think about is what they're going to eat, what they're going to wear, where they need to be. That's fine, but don't forget why you're here. Don't forget who you're supposed to become. You've got to feed something bigger than your appetite. You've got to wake up and feed your purpose. Your destiny is hungry. Your vision is starving. Your future is looking at you every morning saying, are you going to feed me today? Or are you going to neglect me again? And listen, I'm not just talking about reading a quote and calling it growth. I'm talking about intentional investment. I'm talking about making it non-negotiable to grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and purposefully every single day. That means you've got to carve out time to learn something that builds you, to speak something that aligns with your future, to do something that stretches you. You've got to wake up and remind yourself that you're not just here to survive. You're here to build something. You're here to become someone. People want results without routines. They want success without sacrifice. But purpose doesn't show up for the undisciplined. Purpose rewards those who prepare, those who pursue, those who are willing to say, I'm going to put something into myself today that my tomorrow will thank me for. You've got to stop starving your growth while feeding your excuses. You've got time to scroll, but no time to read. You've got time to gossip, but no time to pray. You've got time to chase pleasure, but no time to feed your principles. That's why you're stuck. That's why you keep feeling empty even when your life looks full. Setbacks, because what you're feeding can't sustain you. It can't carry you through the pressure, through the battles, through the responsibilities that your purpose demands. Feeding your purpose means getting clear about what matters most. It means saying no to comfort when it doesn't grow you. It means choosing to go deeper when everyone else stays shallow. Some days, that means you study when you feel like sleeping. You reflect when you feel like rushing. You write when you feel like quitting. You speak life over yourself when you feel broken, because you understand that purpose isn't a feeling, it's a focus. And let's be real, it's hard. It's hard to show up every day and feed something you can't yet see. It's hard to pour into a dream that's still in seed form. But if you don't feed it, it won't grow. If you don't water it with effort, with faith, with consistency, it'll die. Not because it wasn't meant for you, but because you neglected it. You gave it leftovers instead of priority. You gave it excuses instead of energy. So every day, you've got to ask yourself, what did I do today that fed my future? What did I do today that made me stronger, wiser, clearer, more prepared? Don't you dare get to the end of your day and realize you did everything for everyone else and nothing for your calling. Don't you dare look in the mirror and realize you gave your job your best, but gave your purpose the crumbs. Purpose requires nourishment. It needs discipline. It needs you to protect your time. It needs you to stop playing small. Some of you are living in starvation mode spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because you keep feeding distractions and calling it rest. You keep feeding fear and calling it caution. No, it's time to change your diet. It's time to get intentional. It's time to feed what fuels you and starve what drains you. Not setbacks. You can't run on empty and expect to live full. You can't pour into others if you're always running dry. You've got to build the habit of pouring into you, not just to feel good, but to become good at what you're called to do. You've got a gift. You've got greatness, but greatness doesn't show up when you feel like it. Greatness shows up when you feed it. So from this day forward, before you reach for your phone, reach for your focus. Before you chase money, chase meaning. Before you check in with the world, check in with your soul. Feed your purpose daily, because the version of your trying to become is depending on it. Not setbacks. You ever notice how quick we are to encourage other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we stay silent. We'll hype somebody else up. Tell them they've got potential, they've got talent, they're going to make it. But when we look in the mirror, we don't say a word. And then we wonder why we walk around feeling weak, tired, uncertain. It's because we've gone quiet where we need to be loud. We've gone soft where we need to speak with strength. You've got to start talking to yourself with power and truth every single day. See, the most important conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with EU. Not what they said, not what they posted, not what your past whispers, but what you decide to believe and repeat to yourself. Because if your voice isn't louder than your doubt, not setbacks, then your doubt is going to win. If your truth isn't louder than the lies, then the lies will shape your reality. It's not about motivation. It's about declaration. Speaking to yourself about yourself on purpose with purpose. Some of you are carrying labels that somebody else gave you. Maybe it was a parent, a teacher, a so-called friend. Maybe it was your own mistakes. And every day those words echo. You're not smart enough. You're too much. You're not qualified. You're just average. And because no one ever taught you how to fight back with your own voice, you accepted it. You wear it. You walk around like that's your identity. But let me tell you something. Just because it was said doesn't mean it's true. And just because it's been sitting in your head for years doesn't mean it gets to stay. You've got to tear down every lie that's built a home in your mind. You've got to go into the places you've stayed silent and begin to speak differently. Speak truth, speak courage, speak identity. You've got to look yourself in the mirror, even if your voice is shaky, and say, I'm not what they called me. I'm not my failures. I'm not the pain I've been through. I am chosen. I am focused. I am being developed into something strong. I've got a calling on my life, and I will not be silent about it. You can't wait for someone else to tell you what you already need to believe. You can't depend on compliments to carry your confidence. That's fragile. That breaks down. Confidence that lasts is built in the dark, in private moments, When you decide to believe what God said about even when the evidence doesn't match yet, that's when power is born. That's when your inner voice becomes your greatest weapon instead of your worst enemy. Listen to me. The world is noisy. The pressure is heavy. But if you've trained your voice to speak life, you don't bend under the weight of doubt. You don't crack when people criticize, because your foundation isn't built on applause. It's built on alignment. You know who you are. You've already told yourself. You've already stood in your truth before you stepped into the day. Some of you keep losing battles that could have been won if you just opened your mouth. Not setbacks. You let fear corner you because you didn't fight back with your voice. You let shame linger because you didn't speak grace over yourself. You let insecurity drive because you forgot that you get to write the script. And I get it. Maybe nobody ever taught you that your voice has power. Maybe you've been silent for so long you forgot how to speak up for yourself. But that changes today. You've got to build the habit of declaring who you are every single day, before the world tries to define you. Because if you don't define yourself, somebody else will. If you don't speak truth, the enemy will speak lies. If you don't speak faith, fear will run the show. And here's the truth. You don't need permission to affirm yourself. You don't need a stage to speak purpose. You don't need a perfect life to speak powerful things. You just need to be intentional. So when you wake up, before the world gets a word in, you look in that mirror and speak strength, speak alignment, speak destiny, speak growth. Tell yourself what matters most, in that you are still here, still standing, still growing. And that means you're not done. That means you've still got work to do. That means your best days are ahead, and your voice is not going to stay quiet about it. Don't let your voice be your limitation. Let it be your weapon. Let it be your fuel. Let it be the reason you get up when life knocks you down. Speak with fire. Speak with focus. Speak like your life depends on it, because it does. Every day, life gives you a choice, courage or comfort. And I get it, comfort feels good. It's safe. It's predictable. But let me tell you something. Nothing great ever came from comfort. No legacy was built in the safe zone. No destiny was fulfilled by someone who always chose the easy way out. Every single day you've got breath in your lungs, you're going to be faced with the same question. Are you going to grow today, or are you going to hide? See, courage isn't something you just wake up with. It's something you choose. It's a decision. And you've got to make that decision even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. You think I feel brave every day. You think I don't feel fear. You think I don't have voices in my head saying, what if you fail? What if you mess up? What if they laugh? Of course I do, but I choose courage anyway. I lean into it, because courage isn't about being fearless. It's about not letting fear decide for you. And let me tell you what most people don't want to admit it. Comfort will steal your calling if you let it. It'll rob you blind. You'll sit on dreams for years because you didn't want to be uncomfortable. You'll keep relationships that drain you because walking away felt too hard. Not setbacks. You'll stay in environments that shrink you because you were scared to stretch. And while you're busy trying to protect yourself from pain, you're also blocking yourself from purpose. There's no elevation without discomfort. There's no breakthrough without resistance. That pain you're trying to avoid, that's part of the process. That uncertainty, That's how you know you're stepping into something real. You've got to stop running from the tension and start using it. That nervous feeling you get when you're about to do something new. Now setbacks. That's not a red flag. That's a green light. That means you're moving. That means you're breaking patterns. That means you're alive. Too many of us are playing not to lose instead of playing to win. We make decisions based on safety, not strategy. Based on fear, not faith, not setbacks. We shrink to fit what's familiar instead of rising to match what's possible. And then we wonder why we feel stuck. Let me tell you something. Growth feels like discomfort before it feels like progress. You're not stuck. You're just scared. And fear is loud, but it's not loyal. You can't trust fear to lead you anywhere worth going. That's why every day you've got to practice doing hard things on purpose. You've got to train your spirit to lean into resistance. Do something uncomfortable every day. Speak up when it's easier to stay silent. Take the risk when it's easier to stay safe. Push through when your body says quit. Because every time you choose courage, you build something in you that comfort could never offer. Resilience. And let's be real, courage isn't glamorous. Sometimes it looks like making that phone call you've been avoiding. Sometimes it's walking away from something that used to be good, but ain't good anymore. Sometimes it's admitting you were wrong and taking full responsibility. Sometimes it's showing up again after failing in front of everybody. But that's where the power is. That's where character is formed. That's where real transformation begins. You think people who made history felt ready. You think they didn't have doubts. No, they just decided that staying where they was no longer acceptable. They got sick of hiding, sick of shrinking, sick of waiting for someone to give them permission. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to get fed up with being stuck. You've got to get tired of playing small. You've got to say, I'd rather fail moving forward than live the rest of my life wondering what could have been. Because regret is louder than fear. Regret follows you. Regret haunts you. It whispers at night when everything else is quiet, and it doesn't care about your excuses. It just reminds you that you knew you could have done more. You knew you were built for more, but you settled. You played it safe. You chose comfort, and now the dream is gone. The moment has passed. And the only thing you're left with is the thought, what if I had tried? But don't let that be your story. Don't let fear write your legacy. Wake up and choose courage, even when it shakes you, even when it costs you, because on the other side of that choice is a version of you that's stronger, bolder, more alive. And the only way to meet that version is to stop waiting until you're ready and start moving while it's still hard. Comfort is a liar. It'll tell you, just wait, just chill, just stay right here.